So we're going to move through a few things and move through this and talk about some of these things that the world says is true and just see what Jesus says about it. So we come to this parable, and first of all, we see two men. We see two men that Jesus casts, and he says there was a rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and who feasted sumptuously every day. So we have a rich man, and then we have Lazarus. And the context of what Jesus is talking about is that he's in the presence of Pharisees. And right before this, if you go to the beginning of chapter 16, you'll see why Jesus starts telling these parables. It says verse 14 in chapter 16. It says, the Pharisees, who were lovers of money, heard all these things, and they ridiculed him. That is Jesus. And then Jesus said to them, you are those who justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts. For what is exalted among men is an abomination in the sight of God. So the view in this day is that if you're rich, if you are well provided for, if you have nice clothes and you have enough food and you have a nice house, that obviously God has blessed you and you are part of God's people and you're saved, and that's just obvious. And then if you had sores and you had diseases, or you didn't have a house and you didn't have food and you were a beggar, all this kind of stuff, it's obvious that God has cursed you and that God does not love you and that you're not saved, you're not part of His people. So this is just the common view of everyone. And the Pharisees held to this too. Now Jesus says, you guys are lovers of money. And He says, you want to justify yourselves before men. So what Jesus is talking about is the Pharisees were rich. They dressed in nice clothes. They had feasts all the time. And so they just said, look at us. God loves us. We are the just. We are holy. We are sinless before God. Look at us. And Jesus says, what is exalted for men, what men exalt is an abomination to God, is sin to God, is a curse to God. Things that are exalted that you say, because of my performance, because of my riches, because of my status, it's obvious that I'm a good person, that God loves me, and that I'm perfect and I'm flawless in His sight.